Hi everyone, welcome to Making Things with String. This is my crafty YouTube channel. My name is Kate. My pronouns are she, her. Thanks for checking out my video. Today I have some cross stitch to talk to you about as per usual. I'll also talk a little bit about knitting and crochet. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's it. I've got some notes here. We'll go through them. I want to start off today's video by sending a big thank you out to Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot, who gave me a lovely shout out. What seems like a long time ago now, but I only make videos once a month. So Sarah, I have thanked you already, but I wanted to say thank you in a video officially as well. It really meant a lot to get a shout out from you. I think that you are a lovely Flosstuber, one of my favorites. If you haven't checked out Sarah's YouTube channel, Sarah's Stitchy Spot, I highly recommend it. Sarah is just, a wonderful stitcher, but also just an immensely kind person. And so her videos are very heartwarming to watch. So yes, thank you for that shout out, Sarah. It meant a lot to me. Getting a shout out like that reminded me that I haven't really been doing my best at doing shout outs in my own videos. And so today I wanted to give a little bit of a shout out, and it's sort of a 2-for-1. So I have been watching the Hathaway Stitchers, and I just think that they have a wonderful YouTube channel. This is a channel of two sisters, Amity and Erin, and they're just great. They're so funny, and I love their stitching, and I love getting to see two different people stitching in one video. Their rapport is very cute, and I think that you will enjoy their videos. So go check out the Hathaway Stitchers YouTube channel for some more cross-stitch content. But in addition to their YouTube channel, Amity and Erin, along with Salix Stitches on Instagram, have created a new Instagram account called the crossstitch_salander. And this is just a really great idea. So the idea is that this Instagram account is sort of the home for all sals or all stitch-alongs for cross stitch. So if you are participating in any stitch-alongs, or you're interested in seeing what kinds of sals are going on right now, go check out that Instagram account to get the information about some sals that you might be interested in. All right, so let's get started talking about some cross stitch. I have some finished pieces that I would like to show you. The first one, we'll go ahead. I think I kind of started off my last video with Stitch for Pride as well, so we'll start this video off with that too. I have finished the May Stitch for Pride piece. This is what it looks like. May's artist was Yishe Garbage. I'm not entirely sure on the pronunciation there. But this artist is a trans woman artist from Berlin. And this is the cross stitch piece, sort of depicting some like barbed wire, but also this flag in the center with a home symbol. Some really powerful political commentary in this piece in particular, and in a lot of her works that I think are particularly relevant. I guess always, but right now as well, given what's going on in the world. So finished this piece up. This is stitched on a 36 count fabric from the sewing shop, and it is called Throwback. It's a linen, and I used DMC 924 for this. I don't think that that's what was called for for the DMC conversion on this piece, but it's the one that I decided to go with for this. So that is my first finish. Second finish of the month was this Gingerbread House 1 ornament that I had already stitched half of. It was called in WIPGO once, and I decided to finish it off. So this happened to me last year as well. I got a little bit overwhelmed with all of the new starts that WIPGO has been calling for with my ornaments. And so instead of going ahead and stitching a half of whatever ornaments were called for, I started finishing up ornaments instead. So I'm basically completing WIPGO calls, but ones that haven't been completed yet. Let me get you some information about this pattern. Okay. So it is Gingerbread House 1. This is a pattern by Country Cottage Needleworks. I am stitching this on, I believe, a 32 count linen by Fiber on a Whim. I think it's affogato. I actually don't have it on my Notion, unfortunately. But yeah, this is the second one of these little gingerbread houses that I've stitched. I stitched one last year. And these are the only two patterns that I have, so I'm going to have to buy some more for next year. I stitched this mostly with the called for thread. So there's some classic colorworks in here. There's also some weeks dye works. However, the body of the house, like the main color of the house, I swapped out. I picked up Annie, a skein of Annie by Roxy Floss Co. when I was at Stitch North, to replace the Weeks Dye Works pecan that was called for in this, because I didn't have enough of that skein of pecan left. And I decided that I would just, instead of buying a new Weeks Dye Works skein, I would go ahead and swap it out for some Roxy Floss Co. So I think it looks pretty good, but otherwise everything else is as called for in this piece. And it's a cute little gingerbread house. I love it. I'll have to get finishing soon, because I'm starting to accumulate quite a few finished stitches that need to be fully finished. So we'll figure that out sometime between now and the end of the year. I'll have to focus on that. My next finish is this little ornament. It is called Season's Greetings. This is a little pattern by Teresa Kogut. It is one of the Jingle Ball baubles from 2023, I believe. And yeah, I am stitching this as well on 32 count affogato linen. I believe I swapped out some of the colors as well. I don't have those here listed in my Notion, but I just used DMC for this. And I think not even all of the exact same DMC that are called for in the pattern. So if you care to know specifically which DMC I used for this, go ahead and leave me a comment below and I'll scrounge that up for you. But yeah, here's another sort of square house ornament that I finished this month, Season's Greeting. So again, I had already started this. I had already stitched half of it as a part of WIPGO already earlier this year, and decided to just finish it up instead of starting another one of the ornaments that has been called for WIPGO. All right, one more finished stitch piece. This one's exciting. So my last finish of the month is the Black Butterfly Sampler. This is a piece by Shaded Stitchery, and here it is, all done. So I started this on November 1st in 2023. Last year I was using it for Black Sampler November. And this was on my WIPGO board, and it did get called. This is also a piece that I had been kind of carrying around in a small bag with me to work and stuff, because I have been stitching this in hand. I'll put some footage here over top so that I don't need to keep holding that up. But yeah, I just, I decided to finish it off. So I stitched what I needed to complete the WIPGO call, and I just figured I was close to finishing this. I wanted to get some things done. I've been starting to feel a little anxious about how many WIPs I have, and have been wanting to start new projects. So I decided to kind of try and finish a few things up. So this is an example of that. So this piece was stitched on a 25 count Wise Wolf Lugana. I don't know who the dyer was, but because I bought this at my local needle workshop in Moncton, the Stitch Bug, and it wasn't listed. The dyer wasn't listed, but the colorway is called Wise Wolf. I stitched it with Karen Waterlily's Dark Shadows and the Gentle Art Blackboard. So the butterflies and the border are all done in the Karen Waterlily silk, which is lovely to stitch with, and the alphabet is done, and the flowers are done in Blackboard by the Gentle Art. So this is an amazing little piece that I am looking forward to framing up soon, hopefully. Again, like I said, I'm kind of collecting these finished pieces that I need to fully finish. So hopefully we get to that soon. All right, so those are all the finished stitch pieces that I have for the month of May. Now I'm going to go over the existing works in progress that I worked on during May. So the first one is the big one. This is Needs No Paint, a chart by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artist is Jill Clare. This is a piece that I've been working on since about February 2021, but I am trying to finish stitching it this year. So I'm aiming to get around 4,600 stitches on it every month. So hopefully you've seen some footage or an image of what it looked like the last time you saw it. I'm also going to include some footage here of what it looked like recently. I washed this piece. So I had noticed, and I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, that there was some griminess on parts of the fabric, and because this isn't a full coverage, like the background isn't stitched, I thought it would be important to try and wash that off before stitching over it. And when I washed the piece, it worked out really well, and after that I took some footage of that, so I'll insert that clip here so you can have a look. So here's what it's actually looking like now. So that video that I took when it was out of its frame, it didn't have some or any of this bit down here, I believe. The butt of the horse is what I've been working on this month. So yeah, here's kind of what it looks like back in the frame, and this area over here is what I worked on in May. So I completed a total of 4,556 stitches on this piece in May. And so I am now at a total of 60.2% complete, and I have stitched 50,481 stitches on this. Last time I was at 54.63%, and I had stitched 45,774. So yeah, looking pretty good at 60.2%. And still on track for finishing this year. This project is one of the main reasons that I really wanted to film this video today, because it is June 4th and I hadn't stitched on it yet this month because I was waiting to kind of give you a snapshot of what I had done in May. So I'll get started on that. Stitching again later today or tomorrow to get my stitching in for this month. Still really love stitching this piece. It's a lot of fun. And I'm really excited about the progress that I'm making on it. It was cool to give it a bath. And yeah, really looking forward to continuing to work on this and finishing it this year. Right, so the next project that I'm going to talk about, a WIP that I worked on this month, is my Mirabilia project, Ophelia. So Mira May is a thing. Lots of people like to stitch on Mirabilias during the month of May. So I, of course, took out the one Mirabilia WIP that I had and worked on it a little bit. Now that I have a collection of project bags, I can show them off. So Ophelia, my Mirabilia, is living in this book project bag, which was made by one of my table mates at Stitch North, Chris. So I figured that Ophelia is like a literary piece based on a Shakespeare play, so I put her in the book project bag. And I'll give you, hopefully put an image up of this as well, because I just find that that is easier to see than these photos. But here's what Ophelia will look like. Again, also hopefully I have some footage or something of what Ophelia looked like the last time you saw her. I believe it was probably New Year's Eve that I worked on her last. And here is what she's looking like now. So I did get quite a bit of progress on Ophelia. So you can see she's got one hand here holding a flower, and I've also got her other hand up here, and her face will be right in there. So I'm working on the sort of the top half of this chart at this time. But this is a lot of stitching. It's basically, you know, full coverage, all of this, minus the spots that are empty, which is where beads will go eventually. And yeah, you can see my little Stitch North needle minder there. This piece is being stitched on a 32 count Lugana. I believe it's called Olive. Yeah, it's a 32 count olive green Lugana from Zweigart. And yeah, she's looking great. I really enjoy stitching on this. It's gonna be a while before she's done. But I do have two other Nora Corbett patterns that I would love to get started on. So I'm gonna wait until this is done before I start those, which will be motivation to keep stitching on this. But yeah, that's my Mira May contribution. Next up, I put some work into Toy Shop, which is a Dimensions Gold Collection kit that I have been working on. I've been working on this as a part of the Hello Dimensions SAL, which is being hosted by Liz from Liz Matthews. Hello from Liz Matthews. She's actually stitching the coffee shop. I'm stitching the toy shop and kind of trying to follow along with that SAL. Or at least I was. Now I'm just kind of, this is another one of those pieces that I'm just trying to finish up. So I will show you what this piece looked like the last time you saw it. And I'll give you a little look at what it's looking like now. So this is getting very close. It's looking pretty cool in the camera. You can see that I have got a lot of the stitching done. Not all of it. There's still some crosses and half crosses that need to go in there. But once that's done, there's just like a crap ton of back stitching to go into this piece. And some French knots. So there's like little bits of snow all over this as well. But here's where it is. It's getting there. It's coming along, and it's starting to look really, really cool, I think. so much work to get this done, but I do just really love it. So I'm just stitching this with all of the kit materials. It's, I believe, an 18 count Aida, white Aida, and the threads as called for. So this is looking really good. I hope it's done soon. I have been kind of working on this mostly when visiting my parents. This is another sort of more portable piece. And so, yeah, we'll see. I'm doing some traveling next week. Unsure which projects I'm going to bring with me, but this is definitely a candidate because I could definitely finish it very soon. So yeah, that is Toy Shop. All right, so next I'm going to talk about 3 new starts that I have done. And this comes back to the discussion of how I was kind of feeling a little bit anxious about the number of WIPs that I have. So there's these sort of 3 new projects that I really wanted to get started on, but I was sort of getting uncomfortable with the number of WIPs that I have and how that just kind of keeps creeping up and creeping up. So I really am going to try and kind of stay where I am with respect to my number of WIPs. Right now I have 15 works in progress. And so that's like about the same as what it was before. This month I finished 4 projects, and I started 3 new projects. So let's start with the first one. All right, so my first new start in May was that I completed the first installment of the Arctic Animals Club. This is a new club from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I love Frosted Pumpkin, and I just loved this theme, the Arctic Animals, Aurora Borealis theme, and so I just thought I had to take part in this. And so yeah, the first clue, or the first component, was released in May, and I finished that first piece. So here's what it's looking like. As you can see, there's 2 cute little Arctic foxes doing a little bit of hunting and chasing some voles. And yeah, this is what this piece looks like so far. So the second clue will be coming out later this month, and I'll be sure to stitch that as well. This fabric that I'm stitching on is, let's see if I've written it down. Yeah, this is a 25 count Lugana. It was this sort of light blue Zweigart Lugana that I found in my stash, and then I hand dyed this with some RIT dye. I used some charcoal and aquamarine RIT dye. It's looking pretty accurate. I think here on camera it's quite gray, but there is some sort of variegation and modeling to it. So yeah, that was my first attempt at RIT dye. I had another piece of fabric that I will show you later because I started stitching something else on it that I was considering using for this. But it's really hard to choose a fabric for a mystery stitch along when you don't know what's going to be on the background. So I chose this because it's similar in tone to the called for fabric for the stitch along, and I wanted to kind of stay close to that. I think the idea here is that it's sort of night sky, and there might be some like Aurora Borealis that we'll actually be stitching. I hope so. That would be really cool. And so yeah, I kind of kept it as close as I could to that. So there we go. I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, it was my first try. I think I would like to try some different things with hand dyeing. But yeah, it looks pretty good, and I'm very happy with it. I also have this really cute floss card that came in the PDF to kit up the chart, so I thought I'd show that. Very cute. Really vibrant, bright colors, very cute, very Frosted Pumpkin. So the second new start that I have for this month, I am keeping in this cute little succulent bag, which I also purchased at Stitch North, or which I purchased at Stitch North from Anna, who is at my table. Very cute little succulent bag. I started Antique Cups and Spoons by Shakespeare's Peddler. This was one of the charts that came in our Stitch North swag bag. And, you know, I knew that I wanted to stitch this, and I actually bought some floss with this pattern in mind. I hadn't necessarily been planning on starting it, but my grandmother, my sweet grandmother, actually passed away and last month, and I just sort of drinking tea and teacups. They sort of remind me of her, and so I started stitching on this with her in mind. So here's how far I got on Antique Cups and Spoons. So you can see that I've got 2 cups stitched and part of the little stem of one of the spoons, and then like a honey spoon thing. Not sure what those are called. But yeah, here's what it's looking like. This fabric is a 36 count Roxy Floss Co linen. It's a one-of-a-kind colorway. This is the fabric that I almost started Arctic Animals on, but it is a really, really beautiful, beautiful piece of fabric. And I am stitching this with some Brin and Nettle floss called Lunasaw. And it is this really interesting variegation with some sort of hot pink and then like purpley fuchsia, but also some sort of muddier areas. There's some black speckling on it. There's even a few like mustard speckles. It's stitching up really cool. I quite like it. So yeah, that's where we got with Antique Cups and Spoons. I don't think that this piece will take very long to stitch, right? Like I've already got this sort of top part of this pattern. Although some of these other motifs are quite a bit chunkier than those 2 little cups, but we'll see. We'll see how long it takes. So yes, that is Antique Cups and Spoons. So my last start is living in this amazing dragon bag that was sewed for me by my friend Judith. And I'm using this bag because I am stitching this piece along with her and also with Jen from Jen's Fiber Web. Judith and I had already decided we were trying to do a Year of the Dragon Sal piece together and or a Leap Year Sal piece together. The one that we originally picked wasn't really working out for her, so I found this chart, Elemental Dragons Water by Ink Circles. And I sent it to Judith to see if she would be interested in stitching that one with me instead. She said she was. And then I was watching Jen's recent Flosstube video, and she showed in her haul that she got this pattern. So, and she knows Judith as well. So I messaged her, or we all kind of decided together that the 3 of us would all stitch it. And we decided to start it on June the 2nd. So this is sort of June progress and not necessarily just May, but here's where I've gotten on Elemental Dragons Water. So just a little bit of a start, but you can see a dragon starting to come together here. And yeah, this is very exciting. So I am stitching this on a 36 count linen called Euphoria by Pastime Pieces. So I picked it up at Stitch North. And I am stitching this again with some Brennan Nettle floss. It's called Wreck House, this sort of variegated tealy blue. And so yeah, I'm really enjoying this sort of tone on tone, a little bit subtle look that's coming together here on that. Yay, this is my first ink circles. I'm really excited. I've wanted to stitch in ink circles for a long time, so it's coming together pretty well, and I think it's going to be awesome when it's done. I wanted to do a little bit of a WIPGO update to kind of show you the state of affairs as they currently are. It looks a little bit weird. There's some red items that have been called and that I haven't stitched, but there's also some yellow items that haven't been called and that I have stitched. So yeah, like I said, I've been kind of ignoring with the ornaments what gets called and what I actually stitch, so that's the reason for that. However, in June, for June WIPGO, one of the calls for me, number 2 on the WIPGO board, was the second Quaker Sisters sampler. So I am going to be working on that in June. My WIPGO is to stitch for 5 days, so I'll at least do that. But I would really, that's another piece that I think is definitely finishable this year. So I'd really like to push towards finishing that Quaker Sister sampler. Not sure if I'll be able to do that this month or not, but that's a goal that I have. And then another thing that got called in June was number 25. For me, this is actually a spot that I hadn't placed anything in yet. And so I think what I will do is I will take one of my new starts and put it in that spot. So maybe Water, the Elemental Dragons Water by Ink Circles. And so I'll aim to stitch on that for 5 days, and then that will be my June WIPGO call for number 25. So yeah, that's currently how things are going with WIPGO. It's going pretty well. I've got 9 items that are called and finished. That includes the free space in number 13. So 9 things. I think that's pretty good. I've also got 2 yellows. So these are items that I have finished that haven't been called yet. So I'm sort of ahead on those. And then I've got 4 red ones. These ones are ones that have been called but haven't been finished yet. But it is my plan to complete 2 of them, number 2 and number 25, in June. So the other 2 that have been called and I haven't stitched is Winter Deer, which is an ornament. I think it's a tiny modernist ornament from the Jingle Ball Baubles, and also Peppermint Panda, which is another Jingle Ball Bauble. That one is by the Blue Flower. So I will stitch those this year at some point. Not exactly sure when though. Perhaps when the second half of the ornament also gets called, and then in that month I'll stitch both of them or something like that. All right, so before I move on to talking about my yarny crafts like knitting and crochet, I thought I would spend a little minute to update you on my mom's cross stitch project, because I have been visiting her and I was able to, stitch with her a little bit, and I wanted to show you how her project was going. So Mom bought and kitted up Christmas Town, a holiday sampler chart by Modern Folk Embroidery. She bought the physical chart at Stitch North, and she purchased some linen and floss from Roxy Floss Co. to stitch that up with. So she bought a 28 count navy blue, beautiful bright navy blue linen. It's actually in their shop now. It's called Smooth Sailing. So she's stitching this on a 28 count linen smooth sailing, and she is using white Roxy floss called Snowy Owl. And so yeah, I've got photo and or some little video footage of some progress that Mom has on that. She's actually got more progress than that now. That footage is a little bit outdated, but it's the last footage that I have. And yeah, it's looking really, really cool. And at this point, she's well on her way to being halfway done that chart. So she's looking forward to starting something new and having this chart done for Christmas. So really, really cool. I love that project. And it's interesting because Caroline from Evertote has mentioned in a couple different videos this floss fabric and chart pairing. She was there when my mom was purchasing this, and it sort of really struck her as a beautiful combination, and she's mentioned that in a couple of videos. So Mom and I are kind of getting a kick out of that, and it's really, really, really nice pattern, and she's quite enjoying that. I also thought, so I'm going to move on. That's all sort of all the cross-stitching stuff that I have for today. I'm going to talk a little bit about my knitting and my crochet. Before I do that, though, I wanted to give a little shout out to my dad, who has also been doing some crafting. He's been really into diamond painting, and the last time that I was there and I took that footage of my mom's cross-stitch, I asked Dad if it was okay if I took some footage of some of the diamond paintings, the one that he is currently working on, and then some of the ones that he has completed recently, I guess probably in the last year or so. So yeah, I kind of put the pictures here so you can have a look. This is something that, you know, I don't know that he really thought he would be interested in, but I knew that he might like it because he was a carpenter. He's retired now, but he was a carpenter, and so he likes making things with his hands. And I also heard from my mom that when I had gotten her a diamond painting kit, he was very interested, and he was kind of sitting and watching her do these diamond paintings. So I got him a diamond painting kit for his birthday last year, and he is really enjoying it, and it's sort of a nice thing that he's sitting down and doing during the day as he's drinking his coffee, etc. So he's done some really impressive pieces, and so I wanted to show those off too in my video. So yeah, those are some pictures of the diamond paintings that my dad has done. So sharing my parents' crafty stuff also in my videos. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about knitting. I haven't actually done a whole ton of knitting since my last video, which is sort of unfortunate because Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot was saying how much she loved my socks and how, you know, impressive they were, and I can't wait to see her next socks. And now I'm like, I mean, I do have a sock to show, but spoiler, I am no longer in Sock Madness. Actually, it may even be over at this point, but I didn't make it through the next round. So I don't have a sock blocker for this guy, unfortunately. I'm going to put a picture here of the sock pattern from the last round that I participated in. I also can't remember the name of it, so hopefully that will be included. But it's this really interesting sock pattern that's kind of meant to look like a bookmark kind of going up across your foot, hanging out over by the top of the leg, and then text, kind of pearls as text along the body of the sock. So here's the one sock that I finished, and hopefully you can see there's this sort of like intarsia bookmark. I didn't finish it. I didn't put the little flap here because I think if I do finish these socks, I wouldn't want that little bit hanging off. So once I knew that I was not going to qualify for the next round, I just decided not to knit that bit. But yeah, as you can see here, there's these rows of pearls. It's a little bit hard to see with the yarn that I've chosen. But it's just like whatever pearls you want to translate some text into pearls. So each section of pearls is a word separated by one knit stitch. This has got another like folded over hem in a contrasting color, a toe and a contrasting color. And then this bookmark piece was all knit after the fact. So I have started the second sock. Oh, it's not going to really be obvious. But the sock is not knit in the round. It's knit back and forth. And then after that, you go ahead and close it up by knitting this bookmark piece. So this is my one sock. I'm actually going to have to, I think I'm going to rip out part of the foot of the sock so that it fits me, because the requirements for the Sock Madness round made it so that the sock was like way too long for my foot. Unless I can find somebody with a much bigger foot than me who wants a bookmarks pair of socks that are in these colors. So we'll see. But it's actually like quite a big foot. Like, I don't even know if I know anybody with that size foot. But yeah, Sock Madness was so fun. And you know, the patterns that we got for the subsequent round were also really, you know, interesting, and I would like to knit them at some point. So I'm super, super glad that I participated in that. And that I have all those patterns. It's something that I would, if you're interested in knitting at all, even if you don't think that you could make it past the first round, if you think that you can qualify and knit that first pair of socks within a 2-week period, then you get all of these patterns for free. There was no charge to sign up for Sock Madness. So that was awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, I'm not knitting any socks anymore right now. The other yarny project that I have going at the moment is actually a commission. So a friend of mine, Scott, was wondering if I could make him a dice bag with a certain pattern stitched into it or knit into it, or he kind of like left it up to me. He said he just needed me to make it with string. So what I'm doing is I am crocheting. This is going to be a little difficult to see maybe, but I'm crocheting a dice bag. Right now I'm crocheting it flat, and this may look weird to you if you know anything about crochet, because I've got all these stitches on this super long crochet hook. This is a Tunisian crochet hook, or an Afghan crochet hook, and so I'm crocheting this in Tunisian crochet. And the reason I chose that is because my mom used this stitch to crochet some pillows and then cross-stitched onto those pillows. The nice thing about this stitch is that it is perfectly square. So if you just do like a single crochet in the round, for example, or even back and forth, you either end up with sort of a diagonally leaning grid, or one that kind of wobbles back and forth if you're doing back and forth. So I have done dice bags before with single crochet and cross-stitched designs onto them, and it has been fine. But those designs were images rather than text. So it just, you know, the image was like a little bit slanted. It didn't look that weird, but I thought that what it would do with text is it would make it look italicized. And I didn't think that really fit sort of the design that Scott was looking for. So I am, I don't know, 2 or 3 inches into this dice bag, creating the fabric that I'm going to then cross stitch on. Once this is done and I've stitched the pattern, I will be, you know, kind of hemming up the seam, and then single crocheting the bottom of the bag by picking up stitches and doing that. So sorry that it's kind of hard to see, but yeah, this is what that looks like. So I'm going to cross stitch onto here. Maybe next time you'll get to see what that looks like, because I'm trying to have this done for him by the end of June. So by my next video, sorry, I just kind of dropped a stitch here. By my next video, I should be done. I think that's it for this video. So yeah. My plans for June are pretty similar. I'm gonna keep working on Needs No Paint. I've got another Arctic Animals piece that will be released, so I'll try and work on that. There's another Stitch for Pride piece. Obviously, it's Pride Month. So I'll be doing that. And I've got a couple WIPGO pieces that I want to work on. I'll be doing that. I've got this crochet dice bag. I'll be doing that. We'll see what else I get up to in June. I've also got a trip. I'm going to a conference in Niagara Falls in the middle of the month, so who knows how much crafting I'll get done during that trip. That's all for me for today. I want to thank you very much for spending some time with me. If you're still watching, I really appreciate you. Hope you are enjoying your June, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.